Yeah, we're really excited, obviously, to be going back to the Final Four for the fifth straight year. I think it's 8 out of 9, and just a tribute to our seniors and our leadership and their commitment to, um, getting this team playing at the best volleyball at the right time in the season. So, obviously, we feel honored to go about it, and we'll get organized this week for Nebraska.
What are your overall impressions of Nebraska? You've seen them a lot in the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, they're the number one team in the country for a reason. They're so steady on the ball control side. Their first contact is really good. Their serve receive and their serving, and that's where their strengths are. They're able to side out at a high percentage because of that, and they're just a quality team. Behind the block as well, and obviously very well coached and disciplined.
Coach, you mentioned all the numbers and the appearances. How hard is it to do what you guys have done over the years?
It's extreme. I mean, I still can't believe that every time we do it, I'm honored, and it just, I always think it's going to be my last one. But as our staff talks about, we can never rest, and it just puts obviously a little bit more pressure on us to find the right kind of athlete that fits the mold here at Texas, and the right kind of leadership to be able to kind of grow this program to continue to be and sustain at a high level. It's you can do it once or twice, but to be able to do it over a period of time is the impressive thing for me.
So your team's played best the last 7 matches or so. What's been the catalyst of y'all's recruitment here the last stretch?
Well, I think our seniors. I told them about a month ago that we felt like we had 2 out of the 3 combinations to open the safe, and we just need to keep our energy up and keep going. I think the loss to Iowa State, I'm hoping it's a good thing to lose to Iowa State at the end of the year, because last time we did, we won the national championship, but we were a lot more relaxed after that. I think we just kind of viewed the game a little bit differently. We became a little bit more aggressive with our approach to the game, and we were the one that was kind of starting to be aggressive from the very first point, as opposed to kind of waiting around and seeing how the team would respond to us. But the chemistry has been very, very good. The energy from our seniors has been great, and everyone has a lot of confidence.
You guys are anything but battle tested. I mean, you've been through the ringer and you still came out of there. How does that help you going into a tournament where everyone knows how good Nebraska is?
Yeah, I talk to our team every year. You sometimes need a ball to bounce one certain way or a certain thing to happen. I have a lot of friends in California still, and there's a chain with about 20 guys, and everyone was talking about the Tyus Edney basketball shot that they made, and they went on to win the national championship. And so these are kinds of things that can be a catalyst for you. The most impressive thing about the win against BYU was the way that we responded the following night. Emotional, tears after we beat BYU, kind of disbelief that we were able to come back down 11-5, and then coming back and competing the way that we did and playing at a high level was which made me really proud as a coach.
How often do you think about the loss last year in the Final Four and how close you were there, and how much does that contribute to this past year?
Yeah, listen, I've thought about a lot of them. We've been a lot, and we haven't won, but in 2012, we've lost to 16-14 in Game 5. We've been really close in a couple of deuce games, and last year's squad was a special run. We weren't the most physical team in the country. I don't think anybody had us picked to go to the finals, even maybe the Final Four. But they believed in themselves, and they played at a really high clip, and they played well together. And now you've got a shot. You've got to be able to go and play well, and should we be able to be fortunate enough to come out on top against Nebraska, obviously we'll have a lot of confidence going into the finals match, but this team can do it. I mean, we've got the arms, we've got the fight, and we're excited to go play them again, because the first time we played them, it wasn't pretty. And so we've gotten a lot better since that point in time, and now it's time to kind of go out and execute at a high level.
How much different are y'all? Do you think how much better you all are than you were this time last year when you were playing Nebraska, or earlier this season when you all lost to Nebraska?
Well, we were really good last year. I mean, anytime that you're making a Final Four, you're playing at a high level. To compare the two teams they're just completely different teams with the middles that we had, and with Amy on the outside and the way that she attacked the game compared to what Makaya does and Ebony does. But from where we were in August, that was one of the biggest beatings I've taken as a head coach, and we just didn't execute at a high level. We were sloppy all over the way around. It was a quick turnaround, and this team has been methodical about getting better. And I think last year we beat Nebraska at the beginning of the year and then lost to them in the finals. So, that's why you get to the season, is to train and develop. And, we're in our best condition. We're the most confident we've been, and I think we're having the most fun that we've had.
Coach, if there's one key, you talked about Nebraska's ability to first touch. Is that the key to y'all too, the first touch?
For sure. I mean, if we can control the ball at a decent level, we can be in the game because our pins are so good and our middles have really developed. And I thought Chloe set her best weekend this weekend. I mean, we had some really good transition setting and got some great points off the swings that she was setting. So, we don't have to be perfect. This is not a game that we need to go and say, oh, we got to play the best match of our season. We've got to be good and over a period of time. And the NCAA tournament is just finding a way to win that match. And sometimes you got to win ugly. Sometimes you got to win where it's really smooth. 2012 was that way. We barely snuck it out against Michigan, and then we played the best match of the year against Oregon when we won. So it's one match at a time. It's actually one set at a time and 1 point at a time. And my biggest thing is we're just going there with some confidence, giving that to our players, and we're excited for this opportunity. I know it's always fun to play Nebraska, and it's always fun to be in the Final Four, and we'll just have to get them organized for a 9:30 start time.
Other than stats, why do you think Chloe had her best setting weekend?
Well, you look at location. You look at location, you look at decision making, you look at finding the hot hitter, and the play that she made against BYU, I think it was 13-14 at that point, and the ball that she gave to Micaiah was really, really good in crunch time. So it's location. I mean, everything's location and giving good swings to our pin hitters and finding those tempos.
Jerritt, how vital has Kat been to your guys' defense and just the role she's played on that?
Kat's been great. She's really evolved this year with her confidence and her calmness and her way to kind of approach the game and develop. So, her numbers have steadily grown throughout the year, which has been a tribute to what Eric has done with her and how hard she's trained, and really done a nice job with the development of her game.
Coach, what do you anticipate the environment to be like up there, and what can you tell us about Columbus?
Well, I think it's exciting. I mean, this is the first time we found out on Thursday it's going to be on ESPN. The ratings were very good of the regionals, and so we know I think it's going to be sold out. So the game keeps evolving and keeps growing, and the level of athlete now is so strong, and the competitiveness and the ability for matches to go either way is possible. So we're exciting. The environment we're used to. We know what our routines are. We'll lean on our seniors and our veterans to help our freshmen out and keep them relaxed and enjoy this opportunity.
Coach, in years past, you practiced last time before you headed for the Final Four at the Irwin Center just to get used to the big arena. You going to do that today?
No, we don't have the ability to do that. So we will practice. We don't practice today. Now we practiced yesterday actually because we have finals from 9 to 12, 2 to 5, and 7 to 10 today. So there's no way for me to hold a practice. But we'll practice tomorrow morning, and then we'll take off tomorrow, and we'll have ample time in their gym and get used to it.
Coach, you've said before that this team was special, and you said it last week. When did you kind of see that transformation to know they had the impact of that?
Well, just the way that they started executing. I mean, the way that we played against Kansas State and Texas Tech, you just kind of started seeing the momentum going and just kind of going on runs. And the way that you can tell by the way that your players start looking at each other, the way that they come together, their dialogue. I mean, the dialogue that we had in that match against BYU was every time we were making a sub, they were looking at each other and say, we're not losing this. And that's when we were down 10-5, 11-5, 12-7, and they just had a fight. So they're willing to fight all the way to the end. And we watched it yesterday as a team, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of that room and see. And for them, they forgot half of the points, as did the staff, but it was special.
The fact that they did come back in that match, how much confidence do you think that gave this team, even more so moving forward?
I think it gave them a lot of confidence. The way that we played against Creighton was special. We just didn't let off the entire night, and we played, and we came out in game 3 and really put some pressure on from the defensive side where we haven't been doing that as much. And you need those momentum, and sometimes you get that second life, and that's what I think they feel after that match. They're fired up. This is what they wanted. This is what they worked hard for since last January. And in our program, if you don't reach the Final Four, it's a little disappointing. And so there's always the pressure on the seniors to want to get that team there. They don't want to be known as that team that doesn't get their team there, and so they've worked hard. They're fired up for it, and they're ready to compete.
I know in 2012 y'all had really good diversity with your score, right side, left side, and you just killed Oregon and Michigan. Do you think that your team has got that this year?
Well, I mean, we played very, very well. Our best match of the year against Oregon. We didn't make any error. I think we had 3 hitting errors the entire night. Michigan was a little bit back and forth, but this has the pin hitters that are very similar. We had Shadeer and Bailey and Haley that were playing at a very high level. Our middles were a little bit. We had Kat Bell and Molly, who was a freshman in there. We were a little bit bigger blocking wise. I thought Sarah Palmer had struggled that whole year and played her best tournament of the year. So, yeah, I mean, when you have big arms and the physicality that we have, we've got the ability to be in a match with anybody. And if we execute like we know we can do and be patient, we've got the ability to go on some runs, because I don't think anybody in the tournament has the same kind of arms and physicality at the pins. They might be better in other aspects of the game, but when it comes down to it, if we can execute at a high level and be just good enough and get good swing after good swing, we've got confidence in this group.
Jerritt, your defensive numbers have been a lot better these last dozen matches or so. What do you attribute that to? Is that Cat as a development of the middles? And what kind of
Well, it's our whole backcourt. And, Autumn's become significantly better. I think Chloe's defense has become a lot better. Kat is playing at a high level, and McKay is starting to dig some balls and make plays. Our blocking has gotten significantly better. We're making better decisions. We're getting our feet in front of them. And when we do that, we score a lot of points. Creighton, we started off the match a little slow in terms of our blocking responsibilities, but once we started executing at that level, we put a high, because we're just slowing down balls. And if we can slow down balls, our touches are getting better. We're passing balls 3-4 feet off the net for Chloe to run our transition game, and that's why we become so overwhelming for opponents, because we can dig and first ball kill, which doesn't have a lot on a lot of female teams.
Coach, can you talk a little bit more about the seniors on this team and the role they played, not only this season, but also reaching the Final Four in the recent seasons of their career?
Yeah, well, Nicole Dalton, she's 5 for 5. I don't know if I'm going to let her graduate. But, yeah, I mean, she's been a warrior. I mean, she came in here as a setter, got injured a few times with her hip, and never recovered to 100%. But she was one of those players that said, "Play me anywhere, Coach. I just want to win, and I trust what you guys are doing." So she's now come into a passing role and a defender and a great leader on the court. Paulina was obviously a transfer from Penn State and has grown up tremendously here and is really starting to play the best volleyball that she's played. She's leading by example, and she's giving great energy, and genuinely wants this. I mean, you can just see it with her eyes and her emotions. Chloe's the same way. I mean, her and Chloe have had a great bond and have developed, and Chloe has really, dedicated herself to this season and wanting to be great. I mean, I remember the summer where she was texting me all the time, like, "I cannot wait for this season," and going. And those three, and we have Kate, who's been a big part of our program, but more on the side B, where she's just scooping balls and putting pressure on us. But I think it also helped. We had, as a staff, we invited our seniors over. And just had dinner with them, and we cooked and made guacamole and added all different kinds of ingredients, and we just sat around and talked and asked what we could do better as a staff and what they needed from us and how we create that energy. And that was one of the other catalysts that kind of just started getting us going. They were fired up, and I think they felt a lot more accountable for what was going on and their energy, and they were able to kind of pass that down through the ranks.
In those meetings where they were asking you how to become better as a staff, was one of them your dance moves, Coach? See, you've been practicing, and the whole staff's been looking good.
No, I need some lessons, I think. I just prefer the pogo now. Can't go wrong with that.
And the slam dancing.
Yeah, my dancing days are over. I'll bring out some more moves if we're fortunate enough to win the championship, but you'll have to wait for that. Right, Chloe?